All right, everybody. This is Lee West with the line of the year. Raw. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Victor Vanico Johnson. And he is our first spotlight of 2025. Welcome to CAG Spotlight, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, had to get him real quick.
You always be catching cats. Well, I see. Okay. Yeah. I would have put a collar on if I knew everything was going to be, but this is better. Okay.
Gotta catch y'all off guard, man. You never know when I might pop up.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Thank you for being available on such short notice. Greatly appreciate that. I got a few questions I want to run by you so that the Kings that don't know you can get a chance to know you. And as we continue to improve this platform, everything will be elevated. So happy to
Bet.
have you here today.
All
Um,
right.
First question. Can you share a pivotal moment in your personal or professional life that is significant for your influence into your journey today? And how has it shaped your perspective and approach of the accountability group?
Pivotal moments that have shaped who I am today. Man, it's tons of them, right? Um,
Hey.
there's one that I talk about quite often, though, when I'm speaking is those defining moments, right? That moment where there's something that happens and everything after it is completely different. Your life is completely different from what it was before that moment. And I've had a few of those, but I think one that really changed who I am and impacted what I am today is I always talk about this trip that I took with my kids, a little summer road trip from Atlanta, driving down 75 South to Florida to Orlando. It was like a 10-hour drive. So it was me, the wife. I got four of my kids in the back seat. Anyway, long story condensed very tightly is basically I didn't have the credit score or the income to book this whole thing in advance. So like I have to wait till Friday to get paid when the money is on my debit card, book to rent a car, speed down to Florida. It just was everything was just so tight. I just felt so tight. And anyway, took the trip, got down there, money's flying through my account. On the way back, everybody's asleep. It's a Sunday night. I'm driving. I look in the rearview mirror. I see my kids sleep behind me. Look at my wife. But it was like a quick moment, Lee, when I looked in my own eyes and I did not like the man reflected back at me. I was like, man, I'm piecemealing this trip together. I ain't like how I was as a husband, as a father, as a man. And so that moment I was like, I got to change how I focus on my money. I got to start planning ahead, start being more responsible. And that was truly a defining moment. As simple of a moment it was just something about it just hit me harder than any other time before where I was like, this ain't it. These kids is like teenagers already. So am I going to continue to be this piece it together type of dad, or am I going to be somebody who can actually help them when they call? And I got the funds. It ain't something that's holding me back. And I can be that today. So I really truly look it back at that and say that was a big moment that changed me. That was 2011 or 2012. And that kind of hit me hard. So that would be a big moment.
Man, that is huge, share. That's my first time hearing it, and I'm pretty sure it'll be other Kings' first time hearing it. But for those that didn't, this is something that resonated with me while you were telling it. You took your family on a trip, and of course, it was after you got the funds allocated for you to be able to go and do this. And after the trip is over, you're navigating back home, and then you have a pivotal moment where you have the ability to self-assess and look at yourself. Like that is huge. After like going on a trip where you're supposed to have all this fun and things of this nature, like a lot of people, especially black men, don't take the time to sit back and self-assess. Like, man, like I want to put myself in a better position for my children so I can be a support for them. That's huge, man. Like,
Thanks.
hats off
Thanks.
to you, man. That guy, sheesh, that touched me. That hit me hard, bro.
Yeah, man,
Woo!
it's one of the moments for sure. I mean, it been several of them, but that one hit a
Yeah,
little different, and I moved differently from that moment on. Like it's a whole series of things that happened from that point that created the systems that I have in place now, the routines, and looking at the things that I don't want to do, the things that I do want to be, and making that kind of a checklist of my daily habits. So anyway, that's where it started in that moment.
I guess what this next question is like tied into it, but I'm pretty sure you could pull from something else. What has been the biggest challenge you faced in your personal growth or achievement in your goals? How did you overcome that challenge, and what role did it help when supporting or linking with King's Accountability Group in that process? If you can tie
Hmm.
them two together, or just personal, like
In my career, early on, I was always focused on moving up the ladder because I wanted to make as much money as possible. And I learned in that time something that I probably should have learned in my 30s or 40s, but I learned in my 20s was that you have to emulate the role that you want to become, right? So, like, I would take time to watch how the executive dudes on the next level would dress. And even though I couldn't afford to wear them kind of suits, I would go to the thrift store and buy like a sport jacket and take it to the cleaners and make sure it got fitted the way that it needed to look on me. And just wanted to walk the way that those guys and some of those ladies walked. The lesson for me was that it's okay to be vulnerable and moldable when you're striving in your career, right?
right,
But bigger lesson that happened more recently, and I've talked about this on the CAG, and so let me tie that back to CAG. So during my early days in CAG, I always felt like I had to prove myself to the other CAG members, like most guys do coming in. It's like, okay, well, what do I got going on that matches up to even a inkling of what most of these guys are doing, right?
right,
And I just felt like some of that was driving me um, to be a bigger guy. Not after a while, I stopped doing it for CAG. I just started doing it because of CAG, if that makes sense, right? It wasn't because I wanted to prove something to these guys, but it was because of who I was becoming and that my career growth accelerated in a lot of ways when I got into the CAG group. To fast forward it to the lesson most recently was in my real estate life where I was investing and I was doing great. I mean, having big wins financially. And I got cocky though. And I got caught up in the numbers. So I need these many number of doors in order for me to be successful. And really, at five, most people never buy five rental properties in their life. And I'm like, if I can get to 12, if I can get to 20, and that pace and that arrogance slowed me down and tripped me up big time where I had to eat a big one. And so it was like, oh, so what can I learn from this? Don't read your own clippings. You always be constantly got to be working towards one, fine tuning your systems, but two, not focusing so much on the win, but the process and who you're becoming in that whole thing. So, a couple of lessons in my career and in my most recent entrepreneur journey, and CAG has just helped me to put those systems in place that I needed in order to grow in both of those areas.
man, that's another vision of self-assessment, and this is professional and aligning yourself with the group. And I think a lot of people that come into CAG, I don't want to say fall short to the comparison, but definitely feel a certain way when it's like, oh man, these men are so extinguished, they got a fluent, all these success stories and so on and so forth. So that comparison is going to come naturally.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
going to come. Like, how can I do X, Y, and Z so that I can level up? But then, like you said, honing in on the main, you got one door with, you got one building with maybe six, seven doors.
Hmm.
That's a blessing. That's a win. You know what I mean? Now you can get greedy. Some of us, we all like
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
greedy
yeah,
from
yeah,
time,
yeah.
but
It
it'll
happens.
definitely humble you. So I mean,
Yeah, and listening to other people rah you on, right? Sometimes you like, oh man, okay. Oh, watch if I do another instead of let me keep I'm putting my family out here, put my money out here that's for my family, and that's not a smart move, right? And so you learn from that now stay even keel through it all, right? Even when you have the big wins, the big losses, just stick to the system.
yeah.
And you're going to usually, it always works out, King.
And what I
It
value
always works out.
most definitely, and what I value most about you as a person, is you always continuously like seeking new knowledge. Like whether you say it or you don't, your actions speak it. Like you can tell when Vic is diving deep in his bag about something. Even if we don't talk on a daily basis, it's like, all right, that's something that I've definitely taken from you, Terrell, CB, and all those. Even when I'm ghost in the shadows, but I'm still like personally leveling myself up, whether it's with my family, faith, or in business. So thank
Mhm.
you for that. I want to see, you know what I'm saying?
That's it,
Thank
man.
you.
Hey, we all like that, bro. I noticed that in every single king on the calls there on Sunday.
Most definitely. Okay. Another two-parter, but I'll just ask one instead of just going that, and then we'll do that other one. What
Mhm.
core values and principles guide your decisions and actions both within and outside of the accountability group?
What core values and systems?
Principles and systems, but yeah, both help
Well,
guide your decisions and actions.
definitely integrity for myself, just being who I say I am going to be for myself. Like if I say I'm gonna work out, I need to work out, doing those things. I enjoy being responsible. If I say I'm going to do something with a group, I enjoy leadership. That's a value of mine. I like for people and help them to be their greatest self. I like to inspire action. So I think these are values that I really look at on my daily basis. I enjoy personal growth, personal development. So I was talking about this at this event the other day. I like to maximize minutes,
Mm,
right? Compounding things as often as possible. So if I'm cooking rice, I'm also doing push-ups on the edge of the counter in the kitchen, right? Like if I'm at the stoplight, I'm saying my mantra. If I'm at the gym, I'm listening to Jim Rome or Les Brown. Like I want to maximize every minute. And for me, it's kind of that Kobe, that Mamba mentality that I just want to keep being the better version of me.
yeah,
And those things drive me because of like what you said, even though I haven't told you when I'm studying up on something new, you can see it.
yeah,
And that's important to me. I want to exude somebody who's about excellence, not perfection, just excellence. Like I just want you to know I'm really putting my best forward in everything that I'm involved with. And it helps other people to feel like, you know what, I can do that too, because I'm about as average of a person growing up as you could think of, right? I didn't grow up in a big rich house. I wasn't also got the hood stories, all of that a lot of people have, right? I just was a normal kid. Like I had some unique situations, but I still was able to make something of myself with just the most normal situation. And I think that's something to be said about that. And I like to inspire people toward that. So those are values that drive me daily is how can I be better? Who can I help? I
yeah.
enjoy people to be able to say, because this guy came in my presence, I was able to do something that I didn't think I could do.
That's
And I think
beautiful.
that's what's driving.
I don't even need to ask for examples because that's what it was going to be here. But can you talk about where those values have been tested and you had to reinforce them?
In my career, call center world, I always managed call centers and, managed big teams of, 50 to 100 collectors or salespeople. And, those companies always get bought out by venture capitalists. And if the numbers ain't there, then they'll sell. And so all of a sudden you'll come in on a Tuesday and half of the staff is getting fired, right? And those things happened to me like four times in my career. And when I was really in the progression stage. And it can test you about who you are and are you really as good as what you think you are? Because if you were, then how could you just suddenly lose your income like that, right? Just started just testing how can I make myself the most valuable that I can because a job could always pull a rug up from under me. So I can't remember who said this saying, but the bird never worries about the branch breaking because it has its own wings. And so I want to be able to fly no matter what is going on up under me. And so it's been tested in each one of my corporate jobs where my position got eliminated, instant six-figure salary gone. Um, and I'm at the top of the heap in my level and my industry, the company staff. I'm building people. Boom, it's gone, right? And that happened multiple times, and then half of them I didn't get a severance. So I had to look at like how can I make myself so valuable that if something happens drastic today, I can bounce back tomorrow and still do something different.
Man, gosh, like this is not even a part of the next question, but um, something that you said that resonated with me, and I think a lot of people need to attest to this is even if you go to a 9 to 5, whether you are dead or alive, they'll replace you with somebody else or figure something else out. So you got to bet on yourself. And that is like the highest form of betting on yourself. So I commend you for that, man. That is huge. Thank you for that share too. Like that way, that's another deep dive that some people probably
Mhm.
didn't know about you. So, man, sheesh. Woo! We
Yeah, man.
peeling back the layers.
Let's go.
In what ways do you feel like you've contributed to the success and the cohesion of a King's Accountability Group? And can you highlight a specific instance where you input an action that had a significant impact on the group?
Um, it's been a few times, bringing people to the call. AJ was somebody I brought to the call. He's been a tremendous value add to the community. Um, it's been times where me and Tone have had good calls, right? And he was going through something where CAG was able to maybe support with some financial challenge that a king might have been going through. So, being involved with those conversations and those decisions that, made a difference in somebody's direct life in that exact moment, right? Then, there's all the stuff with the 501(c)(3), getting the organization up and running and the structure in place. That's going to have lifetime legacy for us, I believe. It's going to make a big difference for so many people that are attached to CAG. And plus, it's going to create purpose for a lot of guys in CAG that really is still trying to find their way and, what they want to do in life. Cats in their 40s and 50s still trying to figure out what their purpose is. Well, being involved with CAG gives you the things we're doing now is just opening up so wide that everybody will have a place if they want a place and if they got something that they can contribute. So being part of those conversations, those board meetings that you're part of course, those are important things that we might take for granted as, okay, we just spent an hour here, but we planted a seed that's going to have big ripples like 50 years from now. Those conversations will have mega impact. People will be on looking at us on walls, like looking at us in a Zoom screenshot, like, yo, these decision makers back in 2024 and 25, they set us up for the impact that we're making for 100,000 people across the country, across the world right now. Like, I don't take that lightly, bro. And so those are the things that I'm looking at that, whatever part that I can play for my entrepreneur and corporate career that can add value to CAG. I'm in some other boards that are highly structured and big millions. And I'll be ear hustling and, hey guys, we need to be doing this because this is how they do it at this level. So that's the thing I think I've been able to add to the CAG community.
Yeah, that structure component is huge. And putting people in the right position to execute. Like you and I both branched off from the Lion of the Week committee, which is amazing, phenomenal committee to handle different branches of CAG and like you said, like just being able to be there and add value input of being in other rooms that you've been a part of and just bringing that knowledge into CAG to watch and see us on when people have like a big um these are the decision makers of CAG from this point to this point, and this is how we were able to accomplish X, Y, and Z so many years down the line. Man, that is definitely huge, and that's just speaking on something that I love about my mantra. We could dive into your mantra for sure, which is your level of exposure will determine your level of success. And people that are listening to this, like, take heed to what Vic is saying. Like, he's touched on every single component of professional life and personal life where he's been around certain situations that's helped mold him into who he is today. So I commend you on sharing that. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Looking ahead, what are some key aspirations and goals that you have for this year?
One is the course that I put together for my Be the Victor Speaker Academy. I just filmed some courses, yes, sir. I'm excited about that because that we talk about maximizing minutes, right? Now I can be in multiple places at one time and still help somebody become a better speaker, learn how to make money from speaking. and I'm still over here asleep, trying to refresh my mind. And I wake up in the next morning and I helped 100 more people. So I'm excited about the course, getting that out there, doing my own speaking engagements on bigger stages this year. Last year was a big jump. You had these quantum leaps, man, where stuff is just kind of moving, and you have like a jump year. And last year was one of those years, just because of stuff with the bank, the things I'm doing in my own business, some relationships in my family that got tighter, and just the CAG growth. So a lot of that's helping me to become a bigger person, man. And I'm excited about those things for this year, taking it to another level and being able to help my wife with her business. She's got a real estate business, assisting other real estate agents with their transaction coordinations. So I'm just, excited about where life is right now, man. I'm in a good place. God is good.
I love that. People ask me this all the time, so I'm going to ask you this as well because you're a very busy man. How are you able to be effective and efficient in all of the things that you are a part of, whether it's in personal life, business, and your own entrepreneur life? Being, what do they call it, a workerpreneur?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
How
yeah,
are you
exactly.
capable of doing all this time management and things of that nature? People want to know.
Yeah, people want to know. Look, man, the biggest thing is to be where you at. You know what I mean? Like, be present, in full presence, when you're in whatever moment you're in. Because you can't be thinking about, okay, I got to do this when I get over there, and you're taking away from what the people are looking for from your time here. Like, I can't be on a CAG board meeting call thinking about my next call, or even I shouldn't even have a call at that time of night on a Monday, right? But that's how I manage it. Is this year I've said no to cluttering my calendar. And AJ gets credit for that because he forced it upon me at the end of the year. He said, block off your next 2 weeks of your calendar. And first I kind of cringed and shook a little bit, like, like crack fiend or something. Like, what? And then I just went ahead and blocked it. And it felt so good to wake up and not have to rush to a call or go to some event, and there'll be times for that. But I've been able to manage my clock. I use my iCalendar big time. I have another calendar at work, so I'll have to spend time. I schedule time to sync up the calendars between my work and my iPhone, because if I don't, I'll be double booked and I'll miss something. So that's been a very important factor. Calendly is a big tool that helps me because it is going to make sure it doesn't put anything on my calendar that's already in that space. And then having a routine has helped me. In the mornings, I need an hour and a half. If at the latest I wake up at 6:30, I need an hour and a half to do my stuff that I like to do in the mornings. My workout, my reading, my meditation, water, walking, whatever it's going to be. And so knowing that I have that time, then you can't even book on my calendar before like 9 o'clock. So I got a whole hour between my end of my morning stuff and me starting my business day. So it's just all these little things that I figured out where my weaknesses are. I got to have tools that are there to protect me against my own weakness. So that's what my iCalendar is for sure.
I love that you said that, and at this point, I think that you need a sponsorship with iCalendly. Like they need to go ahead and make that partnership happen. Like if
Right.
anybody's watching this from that, Vic speaks highly of
Man,
you guys on everything that he does. I'm a
big
testament
time.
to that. He's like, yeah, hop on my calendar.
Yeah, I use it, man. It's important. And you know what? With Calendly, it allows you to sync up a PayPal account. So there are certain types of events on there where they can't even see my calendar unless they made the payment. And that's the other part of this year. That's part of the goals is reducing access to me, you know. And it's not arrogance to say that I have a higher value now that I'm putting to the marketplace. There's so many other things I've learned. Now I got the tool, I got the arm of CAG right here that I can say, hey guys, this is something that we should support. And I have a voice at that table. And we can't diminish that, bro. Like what we can do as CAG now for a community is gigantic. even $1,000 in a community that's struggling, if we decide to do an event on a Saturday that gives free backpacks away and haircuts and all that kind of stuff and suits, you just impacted a whole community. So my value has elevated because I'm part of a group that I can say, hey guys, here's something we should look at. And it might get done or it might not. Don't diminish that value. And so I'm just saying my access should be limited because everybody can't take up my time because everybody not really bringing something of value to the table. So why would I waste that time?
So
Just a little
step
extra
in, if you
nugget to
step
throw
in the
out
Vic, you
there.
got to bring value. Just know what I'm saying. When you come into these rooms, you say, "Look, man, how can I add value to you and you add value to me?" That is, people talk about relationships being. I wholeheartedly believe all relationships are transactional. This is just me. Whether it's you giving your time and I'm giving my time, that's like the smallest portion of it. But
Hmm.
also like what experience that you can share, what type of knowledge can I gain from you or give you, and things of that nature. Because we all are subject matter experts in our own lanes.
Right.
Um, how do you plan to leverage the resources that CAGS supports? And within the accountability group, what objectives do you plan on achieving throughout this year in the group?
I'll start with that one first. One objective that I have for myself within the group is to be part of creating a system that allows us to go after dollars, that are out there for groups like ours, right? There's tons of grants and, sponsorship opportunities. So I want to be able to say that, hey, I was involved with creating that system that now can just be replicated and managed, and those relationships be managed, that we're able to go after, right? That's an important thing to me
Yeah.
because not everybody can do it, one, right? And two, I want to be able to collaborate with other people and see what their ideas are so we all grow. So now I can, do other things. So that's one part of it. And then the first part of the question was,
How do you plan on leveraging the resources of CAG?
I think what we're doing now is like P2K, and the suit up events, being able to leverage our 501c3 status with CAG has allowed us to basically create programs that are impacting youth enrichment every single Friday. Like you've been there. So like you see how that's important that is. I mean, down to the meals and the mentorship, I think that's some important. I think that's how we're going to leverage it is just keep using that status and our mission and our integrity and our accountability to share these principles. Like everybody is taking the whole mantra concept with them wherever they go. I
Man,
do classes with youth, here in Dallas, and we talk about mantras. I do it with a room full of real estate agents last Thursday. I presented and I talked to them about creating mantras. Like the fact that we all take the finest parts of what we get from this group, I'm leveraging all of that to be able to be my best person, my best business, and to be the best dad and husband and all those other things, all other titles that we carry. So I'm leveraging inside and out, things that we could do internally and things that can help me grow in my little community of things that I'm focused on.
I love it. Ooh, that's my calendar going off. This,
Yep.
while you were talking, it like a light bulb went off, and I'm paying attention to the foundation of CAG, right? And then I'm looking at all the leaderships, all the leaders and leadership within CAG, and then I'm looking at all the other branches that have branched off into CAG, and we talk about the mantras, and then those branches are pouring into other communities, and we're all like an extension of the
Hmm.
foundation
It's
that
so dope, right?
is
It's
amazing.
crazy.
So before I get you out of here, since you are the lion of the year, I got some bonus questions for you, my guy. These little added value questions. Um, so within your career, what strategies have helped you navigate your career path, and what advice would you give someone that's looking to jump into your career path as well?
Well, in any career path, I think it's important to be likable. Like I smile a lot, not on some fake BS, but really I'm happy. I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to learn. I'm happy to share. So be that type of person that brings good energy into the room. I think it's Joe Cannon, Dr. Joe Cannon, that says, be a thermostat. Like when you walk in, if the room is cold, when you walk in, now everybody feel like, oh, it feel good in here. Just change the energy, King. So any career path that can work in any room in any situation. So that's been a big success for me, is just smile more, let off good energy, be open, eyes, chest, smile, everything, like all of that needs to be open. The second thing is really understanding about the companies that you want to be involved with. So if you're an entrepreneur and you want to collaborate, like do your homework. Go on LinkedIn, see what college they went to, what's their favorite hobbies, find them on social media, see what they've been doing, and bring that to the conversation instead of me, 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 me. It's all about, oh man, I admire you because you have, look at what you've done, and I'd love to learn, and I want to bring my value to your organization. And I see that you guys have a mission for this in 5 years. I see myself fitting perfectly into that. Like, bring that kind of energy instead of, you guys need to hire me or you need to do this. Like, none of that really works anymore. People are looking for connectivity with people. So find ways to do that. Learn how to be a good communicator. You can hit me up. I got you.
Hey,
But learn how to do that, and then learn how to lead. And that doesn't mean to be a boss, but learn how to get the best out of others. So that means you got to be paying attention to other people. How do they move? What drives them? What motivates them? And find ways to make everything a win-win. Hey, if you can partner with me, I can put you in a position where you can do more of what you want to do, and you're helping me, which is making me better to do what I want to do. Like, always look for those type of situations, and those would be a few bonus nuggets I could throw out
oh man, you gave a plethora of nuggets. I hope everybody watching this is just absorbing all the gems that he's dropping, man. This is phenomenal. Okay, last question I have for you before I let you get back to your schedule. You might have a bunch of things in your calendar. If you were to start your career today with the knowledge that you already have, what would you do differently and why?
I would have definitely bought real estate when I was 20 years old. I would have bought a fourplex. I would have lived in one of those units. I would have rented out the other three, and I would have made that equity just keep building and building and building. I would have been more responsible with my credit. I would have decided to protect my relationships with my babies at that age. I would have built that relationship bond, which is one of the things I always applaud you on, King, is your relationship with your babies is big, because it's those first walks, first school, first this, first that. If you miss those, then you missed an important part of your relationship. So I would do that. And that impacts your career, right? Because I was so driven in career, I let go of this. So you got to find a way to juggle and balance. Um, those would be a few things that I would definitely do a little bit differently. And I would not worry so much about what other people want me to do and what other people think. I would just run my own race, do my own thing, and master it, really master it, and just, stay locked in until I can move on to the next thing, create a system for that, and then move on to the next thing. So those would be a few things I would probably do
I love that.
differently. Yeah.
I love it. You touched on my babies, and I'll just give it real quick because I had the experience of not having my little ones, or my little one, my oldest, who just made 18, and then I got these two little ones now. So
Hmm.
night and day, where it
Yeah.
went from like the custody situation to no custody situation. Like I'm watching them elevate and watching those moves. So that is definitely huge. All the nuggets that you dropped today has been beyond phenomenal, my guy. Everybody, this is your Lion of the Year. I say this again, Lion of the Year, Victor Benico Johnson, man. Thank you for coming on CAG Spotlight today. We greatly appreciate you. We love you, King, like a big brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It's our
sir.
fraternity forever, our brotherhood. Hope you have a wonderful, phenomenal week. And love you, man.
Love you too, King. Peace.
Have a good one.